The history of Anga, one of the earliest Vedic-era kingdoms in India, includes accounts of a few rulers, particularly as noted in religious texts and epics like the Mahabharata and Buddhist literature. However, unlike other ancient kingdoms such as Magadha or Koshala, detailed records of Anga's kings and their ruling systems are limited. Much of what we know about Anga is a blend of historical traditions and mythological narratives. According to certain legends, Anga was named after its mythical founder, Prince Anga, a descendant of Anu, the son of King Yayati in the Lunar dynasty. Yayati divided his kingdom among his sons, and the region given to Anu eventually developed into Anga. Another legend attributes Anga's founding to the Asura king Bali, who is considered a powerful ruler in Hindu mythology and is often linked with prosperity and wealth. Some ancient texts mention King Dadivahana as an early ruler of Anga. Although little information is available about his reign, Dadivahana is sometimes referred to as a contemporary of kings from other neighboring kingdoms. During this period, Anga was closely associated with the kingdoms of Magadha and Vanga, or Bengal. The rulers of Anga had a traditional rivalry with these neighboring kingdoms, and conflicts over territorial boundaries were common. The most famous king of Anga in the Mahabharata was Karna, a legendary figure in Indian epics. Karna was the son of the sun god Surya and Kunti, the mother of the Pandavas, but he was raised by a charioteer family. He faced social stigma due to his perceived low birth, but he was granted the kingdom of Anga by Duryodhana, the Kaurava prince, as a token of friendship and respect for his martial abilities. Karna's rule over Anga transformed it into a prominent kingdom allied with the Kauravas. As king, Karna is portrayed as a generous and just ruler, well respected by his subjects and feared by his enemies. He was also known for his unwavering loyalty to Duryodhana and his commitment to the Kshatriya Dharma, despite societal rejection. During Karna's reign, the ruling system of Anga was likely based on the Kshatriya code, which included defense of the kingdom justice and adherence to warrior ethics. Karna was famous for his Dana Dharma, frequently giving away wealth, land, and gifts to the needy and to Brahmins, which earned him the title Danvir Karna, or Karna, the Generous. Karna's rule represents the height of Anga's political prominence as he fought alongside the Kauravas in the Mahabharata's Kurukshetra war. Following the events of the Mahabharata, there are few historical records of Anga as an independent kingdom. It is believed that Anga fell into decline after Karna's death, and subsequent rulers are scarcely mentioned in Indian texts. By the time of the Buddha, Anga was no longer an independent entity, but was instead conquered by Bimbisara, the powerful king of Magadha. This integration is detailed in Jataka tales and Buddhist texts. King Bimbisara of Magadha, one of the Haryanka dynasty's most powerful rulers, expanded his kingdom significantly by conquering neighboring regions. His military campaigns included the conquest of Anga, which provided him control over its strategic location and resources. The conquest is said to have happened after a series of conflicts, and Bimbisara placed his son as a governor or viceroy to oversee Anga, integrating it into the Magadhan administration. After the Magadhan conquest, Anga lost its political independence and was effectively managed as a province of Magadha. Like other kingdoms of the time, Anga was likely a monarchy with a king at its center, supported by a royal court. The court would have included ministers, advisors, generals, and Brahmin priests who helped the king in governance and religious matters. The kingdom of Anga, like most Vedic kingdoms, was likely divided into villages and small towns. Each village would have had a gramani, or village head, who was responsible for collecting taxes and maintaining law and order. The kingdom maintained a standing army, with warriors trained in various weapons and fighting techniques. As a Kshatriya king, Karna exemplified the warrior ideal, and his rule likely emphasized military preparedness. Champa, the capital of Anga, was a major trade center. The kingdom had access to the Ganges River, facilitating trade routes between North and East India. It was known for its skilled artisans, trade in goods like silk, and its wealth generated from riverine commerce. Anga was deeply influenced by Vedic religion, with its rulers adhering to Brahmanical traditions. The king and his court performed various rituals and sacrifices to maintain the favor of the gods. During the 6th century BCE, Anga's region became part of the larger Magadhan Empire, where Buddhism began to flourish. The Buddha is said to have visited Anga, and the people were exposed to Buddhist teachings through Magadha's influence. Anga's historical importance diminished after its absorption by Magadha. However, its cultural and economic contributions, especially through its capital Champa, left a lasting impression on the region. The kingdom's association with Karna as a legendary hero ensured that it remained part of Indian cultural memory, often romanticized in later literature and folklore. The city of Champa continued to be an important urban center even after Anga's decline. It was later known as a hub of maritime trade and retained its reputation as a prosperous city into subsequent centuries.